What happens when you consume a low dose of aspartame over a long period of time? Why is it unsafe? What is happening in the study? Mice have been taking, they're just taking aspartame over there. This research article is called Aspartame Decreases Fat Deposits in Mice at a Cost of Mild Cardiac Hypertrophy and Reduced Cognitive Performance. So, not just do the mice hearts remodel, but they also decrease in cognitive performance. I don't think that's what anybody wants from their sugar-free beverages, which is what you're usually finding aspartame in. Hold on one sec. So this is an artificial sweetener, which you can find in a lot of diet sodas, Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, sugar-free anything, zero anything. So the study was 1 year as a duration, and they were pretty mature mice, male mice to be specific. And then the aspartame exposure was actually intermittent. The aspartame was added to drinking water. And you might be thinking, wow, they're probably consuming a lot and the study's just kind of out skewed. Well, they wanted to make it pretty normal to the typical American or the typical consumer if we're talking international. 3 consecutive days of aspartame drinking water every 2 weeks. So that's like taking Diet Coke and having that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you're like, I'm gonna be good boy and take 2 weeks off. And then in 2 weeks, you kind of do that same, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Imagine you're doing that for a year. And the dosage was actually very low. They tried to make it more realistic to the human equivalent intake. They were only doing 7 milligrams per kilogram per day. Kind of list off, that's 1/6 of the recommended dose, daily intake dose. And I just looked this up. In a Diet Pepsi, you actually have 180 milligrams of aspartame in there. So imagine you're drinking those on a daily basis for over a year. That's a pretty high amount, I would say. That's not really what they're testing in here. The article talks about 7 milligrams. There were some main findings in here, so let's dive into that. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's LMNT. I've been actually doing this instead of caffeine, and I actually feel way more awakened. This isn't even a sponsor by them. I mean, if you guys want to sponsor me, I would love that. But if you're looking for something that's non-caffeinated and you still kind of want that like boost of energy, if you're trying to switch out your diet sodas, hang in there. We'll give you some ideas of what you can switch to. So the main findings included lost weight, but mostly because they ate less and carried less fat in general. Their body weight, temperature ran lower. The heart showed signs of remodeling. So this is where it gets really weird, and mild hypertrophy. So measured by MRI and tissue stains. 4 things that happened to the heart. Because I was like, wait, what does heart remodeling really mean? Actually changed the shape of the heart over this year. It changed the wall thickness, and then the chamber size and the tissue makeup over time as well. So fibrosis, scar-like connective tissue between muscle fibers were happening. The cell sizes were changing. Inflammation was happening. That's just really interesting. The chamber size changing is really like dilation and then shrinking, like actually changing the shape of these mice's heart. First of all, probably not good, you know? And then the second thing that even the title listed off was the cognitive performance. So I kind of want to dig into that more. Yeah, okay, so the brain metabolism shifted over time and behavior looked a bit off. So brain glucose uptake changed in a time dependent way. It was higher early and then later lower compared to the controls. Brain spectroscopy showed increased lactate, which the authors of this article interpret as signs of something about brain energy handling maybe changing. Barnes maze, which is learning memory maybe test, Yeah, okay, so that maze is a behavior test that researchers do for rodents. Measures spatial learning and memory. Pretty much like how does an animal remember? What is their memory like? Where does a safe exit kind of happen in this maze? By using visual cues. But not everything changed. They noted standard glucose tolerance and insulin tolerance tests didn't show major differences, which I guess that's a good thing. A win is a
A win
win.
is a
Bottom
win.
line is aspartame at a low chronic intermediate dose can produce weight loss, fat loss, but that really comes with trade-offs. Notably, the heart remodeling, which is kind of scary, and then possible brain and behavioral impacts. Yes, the mice got leaner, but their hearts showed signs of remodeling, reshaping, and then their brains slowed down. Metabolic shifts, in a sense. So the question here is not, is aspartame safe? It's, what does safe even mean when the effects take months to even show up? So, yeah, just to recap, diet soda, sugar free gums, low calorie desserts, sugar free candies, frozen desserts, sugar free beverages, sugar free snacks, sugar free products, vitamins, and supplements. So, this is just a good reminder to always check your ingredient list. Please always check your ingredient list. Aspartame is something that you should now kind of be looking for. And then here's some recommended alternatives that could be better. If you watch this and you're like, shit, I gotta get off this dumbing down drink, you know? So, obviously, water. Boring. Yeah, water, still water is obviously first choice, but if you still want something like sparkling water, please go with an unsweetened sparkling water. They have tons of those options out there. LaCroix, unsweetened black tea, hot tea, unsweetened. Coffee is another good substitute for this. And please, no dessert
No!
coffee. Like element tea is a good one too. If you're trying to hop off that aspartame wagon, it's water with electrolytes. So it's practically unsweetened. This one has stevia leaf extract or, natural flavors is something to kind of look out for too. Kombucha is another good one in small amounts. Milk, kefir, yogurt drinks is a good one. If you can handle dairy, please. If you cannot handle dairy, please
No!
do not
God!
choose that as an option. Infused water, so that would be teas, no caffeine types of things, like the butterfly water that people are using with the sweet pea, which is amazing, a little earthy, and gorgeous. And then zero sugar drinks with other sweeteners. So other ones you could look into is that stevia, the monk fruit, and then sucralose. But honestly, I would say try to stay away from sucralose just because it still affects your microbiome. All energy drinks kind of have sucralose. Like, can we please, maybe I should just make this. Can we please have an energy drink that's just sweetened with fruit juice? Like, how is that so hard? So, please, if anybody has an idea of that, I would love to try that and be drinking that instead. The start of the year is when everybody does their New Year's resolution. So this should be your resolution. Get rid of aspartame out of all of your ingredients. Let's do it together. Also, if you are looking for another alternative, Mycopop mushroom functional drink, no caffeine, just mushrooms, sparkling water, and a little bit of sweetener. So if you're looking for another alternative without aspartame, Mycopop is for you. And then if you're trying to choose a drink that optimizes your lifestyle, so if you're like craving carbonation, go with like one of those sparkling waters. If you crave caffeine, maybe just go with unsweetened coffee or tea, something like that. Check the ingredients if you are using milk or a type of sweetener. If you crave flavor or ritual, maybe just have like a good infused water or tea. Broth is a good one too. If you're active and you sweat a lot, LMNT is right for you with the electrolytes. It's practically just salts, sparkling water in there. And then, if you want something more filling, that's where that milk, yogurt drinks would come into play. And then if you want like an easier transition, I would just go with like an alternate diet soda and eventually you'll get used to the new one. I promise. So if you're listening and you're like, okay, so what do I do with my diet soda? If you use aspartame occasionally, the study doesn't prove you're doomed. You're not. If you're consuming it daily for years, this really adds up. So try to drink less here and there. If weight management is your goal, the win here is the mice did lose weight or fat in a sense, but please be aware of the trade-offs. It's kind of like, do you want to be dumb or do you want to be fat? It's all up to you. This is your life. I am just bringing awareness to you. Don't let that zero sugar trick get to you because there's going to be trade-offs. There's not zero consequences. Sorry about that. So if you like this episode, if you found it fascinating, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it to somebody. Please tag somebody in it that, you probably see them drink like 18 diet sodas a day. Bring awareness to them. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't care. But it's still better than them not knowing the consequences. So, what is your take on this? Comment down below. Are you going to give up your diet drinks? Are you going to give up your sugar-free candy? You're just like, you know what? YOLO. I only live once. Comment down below. All right. Well, thank you for enjoying this episode. Let me know if you like these. I really like breaking down different research articles. There's so much research coming out, and I'm excited to share more these deep dives down in nerdy topics with you. All right, have a great week, my scientists, and go learn something new today. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, please do so. I know my old one is not coming back as of right now. Still working on that, but I do have a backup one as of a few months ago of Flora